of business is to approve the agenda.
Make that motion.
Motion.
Second by Kevin.
Second. To approve the agenda as presented. Discussion on that. Hearing none, I suppose we'll have to do roll. Well, Wayne, you're with us now. You still hear us?
Yep, I can hear you. I'm ready.
Hey, we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The March 9th minutes.
Second.
What's the second?
Carry.
Questions or comments on those? Sounded like the meeting we were at, so. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. New business? Old business? Okay.
No, we didn't have anything really for new business. We have the meeting scheduled on the agenda, although we just had one last week at our last meeting. But just in case there was anything new, we a donation went in contact with the DOT and let them know that we passed the motion at the last meeting, and I think everything there is good. There is membership fee got paid, so there's really no
Business. Okay. And we'll move on to public comment. Anyone here or online for public comment? Okay. Hearing none. Any other business to come before this? Oh, the shortest meetings I ever remember. All right. Well, hearing none, motion to adjourn would be in order.
This is Wayne, I'll move.
Okay, Wayne, you moved it. Kevin, you're the second. All right. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Have a resolution to adopt a marketing grant for the airport, and we have the seasonal, a couple of seasonal liquor licenses to approve.
We'll accept the motion with additions. This is Wayne, I'll move.
Wayne made. Second.
Thank you, Wayne. Any comments on the agenda?
Fastest, we've got an airport meeting in the morning.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. The next up is a COVID-19 update. And hi, Kathy.
Good afternoon.
Yes,
I
it's good
almost said
afternoon.
good morning. I'm so used to good morning instead. I'll start with just some statistics for Koochiching County. We're currently at 636 cumulative positives with 610 no longer needing isolations, and we remain at 11 deaths. We've been in a nice plateau here for a bit, and there has been a recent rise in cases amongst some young people, and it seems to be within a group of young people that are kind of hanging together. So it's kind of like if we get a rise because there's, a family with 7 kids or something like that, these kids, these young people have all had contact with each other. So that's what's going on right now. There's been 15,008 tests within Koochiching County. And as far as the vaccines, there's been 3,391 first doses administered, and 1,894 people have completed the series of 2 shots. You might have seen already today that on the Journal website and on our Facebook page, we put out some information for registering for upcoming clinics. We are getting 100 doses again, and we've been told by the state that we're going to be getting 100 doses a week ongoing. So we're really hoping that that is able to happen so we can continue to run our clinics every week and get those vaccines out. But there is a website where people are encouraged to go, and I can put that in the chat if you'd like me to do that. And you register for the vaccine. Insurance information is optional. There is no charge for this vaccine. We're currently in the phase 1B tiers 2 and 3 for people who are eligible for the vaccine. And there is a website also to describe what that means and which folks those are. It's a very extensive list of people. It's a very large amount of people. And that's why we've moved to using the prep mod to get people registered and develop our clinics. We will not be completing a list of people anymore or holding a list of people anymore. Everyone will need to register in prep mod in order to be scheduled for a vaccine. Is there any questions?
This is Terry Murray. I see the school opened up to 4 days a week, and I've been getting calls saying that there's a couple new ones almost every day. That must be the same deal with the ones you're saying there's a group of kids, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Okay.
I think there was, I want to say there was 5 or 6 at the high school and 1 at the elementary school.
Okay. As I figured.
And so, it's just really important for people to remember that even though the vaccine's out and people are getting vaccines, it's really important to continue to wear your mask, social distance, and good hygiene. Another thing that seems to be happening too, and I'm not saying that it's happening necessarily in our community, but across the country, they're seeing that people are not telling folks when their kids are sick or they want them to be able to participate in the spring sports. And so they're not disclosing that their children may be ill and they're not keeping them home and they're not quarantining. And of course, that is only going to encourage the spread of the virus. So it's really important if you're sick to stay home and get a test. Testing is still important and very vital to keeping this all under control.
What ages are they allowing now, Kathy?
What ages?
Yeah.
In tier, excuse me, in tier phase 1, tier 2, it is people 16 or 18. Well, 18 it would have to be here because we use the Moderna. 18 years and older with certain medical conditions like sickle cell, anemia, Down syndrome, cancer treatment, immunocompromised from organ transplant, oxygen-dependent chronic lung or heart conditions, and or any other rare condition or disability that puts them at higher risk. And then tier phase 1B, tier 3, are people age 45 to 64 with 1 or more underlying medical condition, or people ages 18 to 24 with 2 or more underlying conditions, and people age 50 years and older in multi-generational housing. There's also the whole essential workers list, which is quite extensive. And, like I said, you can view that online. There's far too many for me to go through right now, because it really opens it up to additional school people, airport staff, judicial systems, public health workers, food service, food distribution. It opens it up to a lot of people.
Thank you.
I will put those two websites in the chat group if you'd like me to do that.
Kathy?
Did you say something to me?
Thank you for the update.
Okay. You're welcome.
Next up is to approve the minutes of March 9th.
Make that motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Murray.
Well, second, Wayne.
Commissioner Pavlik.
No, Wayne, or Scully, seconded, I think.
You were a little late.
I'll give it to you.
Oh, all right.
Give it to Skoy that time.
Yeah, you weren't listening, Terry.
Proof Wayne was at the meeting, so that's a good thing to have. Any questions on the minutes? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great, thank you. And next up is the financial business.
Mr. Chair, I will move on the courthouse claims, highway claims, and public health and human service claims with discussion.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Murray? Go ahead, Mr.
The discussion is the COVID-19 vaccines. Are we not supposed to get charged for vaccines of inmates?
Mr. Chair, that was actually a COVID test, and actually that claim is being held. We're waiting for Pete to send that to the Minnesota Department of Health because we only have to pay Medicare rates, and so I'm not really sure if that was a Medicare rate.
Oh, okay.
But thank you for also noticing that.
Yep.
Actually holding that claim until Pete gets confirmation from the Department of Health on what the actual amount is. We did a test, it's not a vaccine.
Okay. I didn't even see the word test there, so.
Yeah.
I figured it had to do with COVID-19. I didn't think that we get charged. So.
And I caught that as well, and so we're just checking to make sure we're not paying more than what.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
Claims. Have a first and a second. If there's nothing else, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I didn't hear Wayne that time, just gonna say that. Probably just do Wayne by roll call, just so that it's not.
Mr. Stoy?
Aye.
Thank you. Next up is
Mr. Chair. Second.
discussion of the voids. I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Wayne's aye.
Thank you. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Issue that ordinance.
Next up, we have an adoption and accept letter to $100 to the Koochiching County Veterans Transportation Program. I know Pete's been a great supporter of this. I'm sure they appreciate it. I know we appreciate it.
Move on that one, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Edie.
Aye.
Wayne's an aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next up is to approve the station.
Also attached the wage scales for both groups.
Okay.
Yes.
The only thing I'd like to point out is that the board did not take an increase, just so that, you know, I know that you know that. The board did not take an increase in 21, and the board has to set their salary for the following year in the prior year. So you guys did that in 2020, and you did not take an increase. Everyone else increases at 2%. Yep.
Move, Mr. Chairman. That's good. Thanks everyone for all that. Hearing no other comments, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Scoy's aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Next up I have here is just reposting descriptions for the treasury assistant, the technician, transferring the job to balancing solid waste assessment fees from the
I'll give that.
Second. Commissioner Ady. And I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Scoy aye.
Opposed?
An easy one for you.
easy one.
The next one.
Next up, we have sponsorship of the cross country ski and ATV grants for years 2022.
Kevin, or, Jason, I'm losing your voice a little bit here.
Sorry, I'll speak up. We're on item 6 to approve the board sponsorship of the snowmobile ski and ATV grants for the years 2021 to 2022.
You need a motion?
Yes, we have a motion by Commissioner Pavlik.
All second.
Thank you. We do lots of good for our area, so we certainly appreciate all their hard work and stuff, so we're definitely going to support that. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Scoy aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 7 is to authorize board member to discuss establishment of a motorized trail joint powers board with Lake and St. Louis counties. I received a letter from Mr. McDonald from St. Louis County. He represents the northern part of St. Louis County. And this was, evidently this was planned to be kind of started last year about this time. Then it got pushed back because of COVID. So they're kind of looking at maybe collaborating and working together to get some of these trails lined up and get some funding for the trails as well. And the Snowmobile Club sounds like they're doing real good work. Maybe just can line that stuff up a little bit better. Be a good opportunity for us up here to get tied in with the trails down there. They got great trails and good places to go down there too. So yeah, I'm an avid, or used to be an avid snowmobiler, so I appreciate all the work they do. It's a lot of fun.
You got gray.
I got a little bit of gray now, yeah, a little bit.
Not as much.
It's a great project.
Yeah.
They asking for someone to be on a committee. Or is that, I think it's.
Yeah, I think that's what we're kind of looking for. It's going to be a joint powers committee, and I would assume that along with
persons or people from the Soulville clubs. There'll also be, you know, someone from our group representing and stuff. So maybe when we get their final approval of St. Louis board, perhaps some lake boards, if this all goes through, and we can discuss a spot on that, if that's okay.
I'll make a motion to accept this.
Thank you, Commissioner Reed.
Second.
Commissioner Pavlik? Comments or anything else? Hearing now, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Thank you. The next up is to acknowledge the Public Health Human Services 2020 perfect financial reporting for last year. And I think they had something along the lines of the year before as well. So, yeah, with last year being a challenging year, I'm sure trying to do it remotely and at work and things like that is certainly, and from what I know about it, I don't know much, but it looks like it's extremely difficult and so we appreciate that and like to congratulate that perfect reporting.
Is anybody on from or Public Health and Human Services?
I'm still here.
Yes, I'm glad to see that you guys are continuing to perform in excellent fashion, getting all those reports in, because as we know, all of our reimbursement from the feds and state are dependent on this, and we can have delays, penalties, and this letter is given for a reason. It's because it isn't an easy thing to do, and I really appreciate it from you guys.
It really speaks to Bobby, the supervisor, fiscal supervisor, and her team that this happens like this for the last few years. She's very conscientious and they work really hard and they take all of that very seriously. So kudos to her and her department.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Next up is to approve a letter of support for continued funding for broadband.
There. So this letter, this request for this letter came from the Koochiching Technology Initiative. It speaks to the pending legislation waiting to be acted on to support funding for broadband grant program managed by me. And I provided for you some extra statistics. Attached to the RBA was a fact sheet from the Minnesota Rural Broadband Coalition that kind of hit the highlights for why we need more dollars for broadband. And also on your tables, I left you a graph showing you the results of our speed test results so far, showing that 63% of those test results won't meet the 2026 standard. So we have a lot of work to do. And then there's another one to try and help you understand how much bandwidth is needed in order to do the things we want to do over the internet. Because I don't know where else you'd like me to go with this. I think the RBA kind of speaks for itself. So we're hoping that the board will consider signing the letter and sending it off to the people addressed on it as well as the people CC.
Mr. Chair. Thank you.
I'll move that letter.
Would you accept a second, Mr. Commissioner Skoye?
Okay, I'll accept the second then.
Thank you.
You're first best in our estimate.
Second best.
I'm put up there and get some interest right now before.
Okay. I'd just like to thank ATI and Jackie and all the people that are working on this here. There's going to be hopefully lots of monies for broadband, and hopefully we can get a little bit of that for our area. We need it in some certain spots or Terry's definitely working diligently. There's some great people there. They've persevered over years, so this is hopefully going to come to fruition here.
Right now, if I could.
A lot about broadband. how exactly it works, but I do know that that's going to be vital to our community to get people to come here and work from homes.
We've actually lost people in buying homes because they weren't able to engage in the internet at the speed they needed, so. So, any other comments or concerns? Now I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Says
aye?
Yeah, I saw.
Okay. Opposed? Motion carries. Jackie?
Yeah.
Next up is Public Health and Human Services.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sorry.
before we forget, should we do the additions right now?
Oh, yes, certainly, certainly. Apologies.
Before where I missed the additions and trying to.
I nearly missed it. We can go to our additions to adopt the resolution approving the airport marketing grant. And this is to kind of hit all the markets again and kind of get things up and going. The contribution from the airport commission, it looks like, and the rest of it is from the state grant. And I think we've done this before. Just kind of get things up and running again out there and get the word out there again. So get people back and moving around. So
Timing couldn't be better, Mr. Chair, because like I said, we're meeting tomorrow and trying to get this going here for the season.
I will accept a motion to approve solution.
That motion?
Okay, Commissioner, thank you.
I guess I can second it then. Didn't want to make the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Bella.
It's much needed and appreciate it.
Sir, concerns on the resolution? I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next up, we have to approve the seasonal liquor licenses. There's a couple of them there in the basket.
Lost, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Eady.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Murray. Licenses. I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Roy, aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thanks for the reminder, Jeff. Now we can get to the human service business. We have a couple of
The first item here is the approve the renewal of the DC Day Support Services Purchase of Service Agreement. This formerly was known as the Occupational Development Center Habilitation and Training. With the new waiver reimagined program in the state of Minnesota, they are changing some wording and changing the way services are delivered so that it's more person-centered and individualized to the person. So there was some language change in this, but it does not change any of the terms of the contract. Just some of the plans and things like that are different. So if you were to compare it to last year's contract, you would notice that. The other thing that has changed on this contract is for transportation services. We used to have a rate that we used for people with a lift or without a lift that was not individualized. It was a set amount that the providers could bill for this service. We have moved that to a management waiver rates management system calculator that's found in the waiver rates management manual that we were encouraged to use, and the calculations now are for a one-way trip rather than a round trip. Also, this calculator uses the number of miles that the consumer is driven to their job, and so it's going to be very individualized. It's also going to result in a substantial increase of costs to the waiver program. It's not county dollars, but it is waiver dollars that will increase, and this is happening all over the state for every county. So that is the major change. Otherwise, the terms and conditions remain the same.
I have a question for you, Kathy. Do you know offhand, I know Bobby would know this, but is the waiver on the waiver management system, can our MR, I think this is MR waiver, can that handle this increase, or are we running 100%? We can, okay. Good.
No, we've talked to, Bobby and I talked to state people with our concerns about that, because our budget has gone up and down, and we were concerned that this would be too much of a cost for us, but they assured us that this was happening everywhere, that we were not to worry about that, and that the only way that there would be a problem is if the state ran out of medical assistance funding.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Is there any other questions?
Except, second. Discussion? Here, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye. Squire, aye.
And opposed? And motion carries. Thank you.
The last item here is a donation of 8 infant quilts to be given to new mothers in Koochiching County through our Healthy Child program. And the person who donated this, it came from an individual rather than an organization or one of the churches. So we're grateful for that, and she has been thanked for that donation.
You need a motion on that, Kathy?
It's just an acknowledgement. We don't need approval.
Yeah.
We need approval for donating. No, it's not monetary.
Well, again, yeah, I'm sure the mothers will appreciate that, and stuff like that is really, really neat. It means a lot. I'm sure it feels.
Mr. Chair, I do need a motion on that. By statute, it says that we have to, the board has to accept the donation. It's just a technicality.
Yeah.
So I think I had a first by Pavlik and a second by Skoy.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed?
Hi, good afternoon.
You want what?
Yeah, right. So we're looking to award, purchase a 2021 Ram 4x4 Tradesman quad cab pickup. We sent out bid packages to the 2 local dealers. We only received 1 local quote. that was from Worley Motors for a total price of $24,489 minus $8,000 for the trade-in value of our unit, land and forestry unit number 87, for a net purchase price of $16,489. Similar spec truck from the state bid contract is $24,145, so it's actually $344 cheaper, but considering the trade-in value as well and just the local purchase, where we would recommend going with Worley Motors.
Move, Mr. Chair.
Squire, second.
Thank you, Commissioner Pavlik. Thank you, Commissioner Edie. That's good pricing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I look back at the last few years, and the price that we're paying for these things is hardly increased at all, like less than $1,000 over the last few years. So it's pretty good.
Only question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? And motion carries.
Thank you.
You, Nathan.
All the good stuff. Somebody we can pick on or something.
Oh. I'm here and online, actually. I didn't turn off my connection. I'm in two places. Expect twice as much from you.
Welcome back.
We'll have to increase the salary. You know?
Let's not get goofy. Well, if the guy on the other end of the line would do something, he's not doing well. So I have three items today. I have approved aquatic invasive species watercraft inspection staffing agreement. Always their staffing. They provided these staffing services for our AIS program. Done a good job. This would be for the 2021 season and includes a termination clause. County attorney and entry into
Thank you, Commissioner Pavlik.
You got a motion?
Yes.
Squire, second.
Thank you, Commissioner Skoye. All those in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? And motion carries.
Thank you. The next item is approve a contract for AIS inspection of Lake Haverhill and River. Last year we started entered into an agreement with North St. Louis County Soil and Water Conservation District to help them with those locations for inspection of AIS. And went really well, so we want to do that same agreement again. We did review it with the county attorney. He had some minor adjustments to the agreement, but just would recommend moving forward with this agreement. It expires at the end of 2021. It's a 60-day notice termination clause, and North St. Louis County Soil and Water Conservation District pays for all costs. So.
Thank you, Commissioner Pavlik.
I'll second.
Any comments or concerns? With results of this stuff, do they get posted through the states or?
Yeah, so every year we do an annual report to the state on our AIS inspection program.
At these sites, we're averaging about 3 to 4 inspections per hour. Here or there. Now that's during the weekends and high traffic times. Those sites get used a lot. No different than our Voyageurs National Park site here. That's about like 4 inspections per hour. Wilson's, or let's see, Bowman's Landing, closer to three an hour. But they're highly used. I think in the state, these numbers are much higher than the many lakes that are throughout the state. These are major locations with lots of people coming. So it's good to have inspections, and we get a lot of people from outside of the area. So I think it is important to do that. And there's some other ideas that I have to try to do even better, but I think this is a good step that I would recommend.
So is the state continuing to increase the amounts each year?
So the formula is based on number. Right now, the formula is based on number of landings and different criteria like that, and so it's been pretty steady. We get just under 125,000 a year for the program, and that funding does pay for all of our EIS inspection.
That they pay, is it increasing any, or?
It really hasn't, at least in the last few years.
It's pretty much stable as to what they pay. I mean, it's kind of based on parking spots and everything, I think. So
yes, yeah. There's a formula that they use to calculate it, but there's no guarantee how that, maybe in the future that'll change. Things will change. The state funds it, and they decide how they want to use those funds. So, maybe in the future it will change, but at this time, that's the formula, and we've received just under 125 a year.
All right. Okay.
To implement AIS inspection.
You only have one decontaminant, right?
Yeah. So we in the past purchased a decontamination unit, and so we just have one for our area now. Voyageurs National Park is looking at possibly purchasing a couple more to be used at their other landings. And that's part of this inspection program with North St. Louis County Soil and Water Conservation District, is to, if we can get inspectors that can use the AIS wash station to provide them. So it's all dependent upon us being able to get staff, right? I mean, if we can't get staff, there's no commitment on our part. It's all conditional upon that. But, we'll do our best to do that, to fill those positions. And those are good, that's a nice, there's a variety of different people that apply for those positions. Sometimes it's younger college students or that type of thing. Sometimes it's someone that's retired or looking for some additional income and works with their schedule, and they enjoy being out there near the water and visiting with people and dealing with those, the AIS inspection part of it. All of our inspectors have been very good. They communicate with people, and we encourage them to continue to educate and try to get people to do the right thing so that we don't have these issues in our lake. Yep.
Comments for? And then we have a first and a second. Hearing no other comments, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Mr. Stoy?
Aye. Excuse me.
And opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. For the third item that I have is combined parcel rezoning and conditional use permit. Planning and Zoning Commission met on Thursday, March 11th, 2021, to hold a public hearing on the combined parcel rezoning and conditional use permit application submitted by Lakes Concrete Plus, Inc. Proposed parcel is located at 4940 Highway 65 Little Fork.
which is located just south of Highway 65 and southeasterly of the intersection of 65 and Highway 71. The subject parcel has a building which was formerly used as the A&W convenience store. The property is currently owned by Kenneth and Rita Little, and Lakes Concrete Plus Inc. has an agreement to purchase the property. And we have Mark Olson representing Lakes Concrete Plus here. They stated they propose to move portions of their existing concrete plant located near Northbound to the site, and are hoping to get this operation going here in the very near future. But, I'll turn it over to Mark so he can kind of share with you his thoughts about this one.
I'll slide this down a second. Mark Olson, anyway, with Lakes Concrete. Would like to say our main operation is in Bemidji, which is a year-round plant, kind of the hub to the whole thing. We do have a plant near identical to this in Walker, seasonal, and another one in Boston that kind of works out. One in Northholm kind of didn't work. There wasn't quite enough business, and we were stretching up there from Bemidji all the time, killing ourselves in a sense, I guess. So we're proposing to take approximately half of that plant up here, and we actually have a purchase order on the rest of it as a brand new one. Hopefully around the first week, hope everything works out. It'll be we hope 4 to 5 employees, all local. By local, either Little Fork here, Big Falls, general area. Did hire a local guy to dispatch it. He seems really good and on board, so I'm hoping he'll be a big help to us. The name, like one name, there's a local guy, Ken Zimba, you're probably all aware of. Would maybe take an aggregate from him. Partner has a quarry, Margie. Definitely will be for the majority of the rock. Just a few hours ago, I was actually approached by a city councilman. They have a gravel pit too right down the road there. They're interested in sharing in that. Help the town of Little Fork a little with some royalties. So that source is right there on the good. Pretty close to May 1st, depending upon weather, that whole deal. And then I always say it ends at deer season. Like to or not. All of them.
That's a good point.
If you're ready or not, that kind of kills it. You know, it might stretch to December 1st if we get a great fall. Whatever takes that week of deer season off. It'd be quite a stretch to ever say we'll be year round, but everything's possible, I guess.
Fork's my district, I can't move fast enough.
I sure did. Actually, mine, Wade.
It's a good spot. We liked it. We didn't really want to come into the falls. It's a little bit easier for me to handle. It's still 90 miles up there from Bemidji, but it gets to be logistics, and we're hoping to be able to go not only up here, but Little Fork backwards and over to Rain Lake area. Some of that.
Just have a good reputation.
Thank you. And we try to keep it clean. I said that at the last one. Really adamant about even though there are only 3 or 4 trucks, things are lined up. Everything is on a nice line. It looks nice. I'm adamant about it at all places. Good. Is it Matt?
Yeah.
I do have a call in to the guy on the septic system. To be sure that's in compliance, we actually hooked up to it yesterday. It looks all good, but if you're not aware, we're not going to use the existing building. Just didn't work. It's a great site, but it just didn't really fit.
You're going to use it for bathrooms.
Yeah, and then there's a little tiny bathroom in this building we're moving on. We'll look into that too. It's really 300. One other thing was, roughly speaking, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. just totally dependent on the calls. Saturday is totally dependent on.
Isn't it the earlier the better?
Seems like. Yes, it is.
Only a few of them go. It's always been early, and it's.
You know, it gets darn early, and it's hard for people to understand it. But if we were to say, you know what, it's only gonna be 6 a.m. and that's the way it is, well, it's pretty hard to be over to Captoga to somebody at 6 a.m. So I've getting bad, so it's, say 6 kind of loosely, but say that.
Of course, the downside is you have to work with Matt.
That is the downside. He's really good. I apologize, I can hardly remember.
We love him.
Mark had said that he's gonna get the septic system, do a compliance inspection for his operation. So, you know, previously it was used as a convenience store. And this is a change of the use, so he's going to get, what was it?
Dave Larson.
Dave Larson, which is a licensed inspector, designer, sewer systems, and he'll take a look and do a report about it and get that to us along with Mark, I'm sure, to let him know, to make sure that that's in compliance for his use. The other thing he was going to check on was just check with the Minnesota Department of Health. You know, there's an existing well, and just touch base with them as far as requirements and distances, setbacks, and that kind of thing. So I think that's important to just double check that. I did also want to let you know that the Planning Commission, you know, after considering the information presented and after hearing no opposition to the proposed rezoning and conditional use, that they unanimously made the recommendation to approve the rezoning conditions. We'll have it come to you.
It's too bad, you know, that building is not very old.
Well, it's really nice. It's got, I call it more curb appeal than it does on the inside, but it's very nice. You may do something, some storage in it of sauna tubes or sealers or things like that we can do it. At the moment, whether it's supposed to or not, Ken's got a person living in there. Well, could get a little sketchy. There's a couple little kids around there. So we're starting to run around there a little more. So we're gonna let it ride for a while to be polite too. We'll just let it play out with Ken.
Well, I have a motion by Commissioner Pavlik. Do I have a second?
Squirrel second.
Commissioner Skoye? Any comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Boy, aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
It all works out.
Yeah, thanks for coming up.
Okay, like I told the other ones, and said it was your district. You or anyone, if there's a question, you can call up. Like, the way it is, like, I get it. So,
Appreciate that.
okay, thanks.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, ma'am. Next up, we have Mark. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Jenny. So what we have before you today is we have a grant opportunity available to us for a suicide prevention program. So this is an outgrowth of some work that basically I got involved with this organization called the Northeast Minnesota Suicide Prevention Coalition about a year and a half ago, shortly after I started work here. So working through them, and you know, of course, we had an opportunity. Our staff was trained, and I've been working with them, month to month, and steadily since then. And like I said, this grant opportunity is a natural outgrowth of that process. Where now I think we're to the point where we can start a local program or a project. And when I say local, I mean for Koochiching County. Of course, we cover the whole county, plus include communities like Captogama and Lowman or whatever that are close by, but maybe a little bit outside of our boundaries. The point is the grant is essentially $100,000 over 3 years. It would be $40,000, and then finish off with a $20,000 with the assumption that either the grant program would be continued on with other grant fundings or other opportunities, and or we would end it, or we would figure out another way to continue it. We do have a steering committee assembled that's made up of 7 veterans and 5 local community members. The grant allows for like a part-time coordinator that would do most of the real lead work and the heavy lifting. I, of course, would, as a CVSO, would be the grant administrator and supervise the overall project. Basically the project consists of this steering committee and our partners that we would develop, putting forward a suicide prevention program that would include, training, community awareness through advertising, radio, print, using the local county TV network, those type things. So anyways, what I was asking for today was the authorization to go ahead and continue to pursue this grant opportunity, and to get authorization basically to become the grant administrator and sign off all the execution documents, if you will.
Okay.
Mark, before we still have him? Yeah. Are you still there, Mark?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm sorry, can you not hear me?
No, we just there you go. We've got your picture back. I was just gonna say, maybe you could relate to the rest of the folks here how critical and important this is because of the suicide rates that this country experiences with its veterans. It's unbelievable.
Yes, the suicide rate is definitely markedly higher, of course, than the non-veteran suicide rate. The veterans are overrepresented. I believe they say there's a veteran suicide across the nation like every 2.5 minutes. In this county, since I started this job, I'm aware of at least 3 veteran suicides, and I'm aware of other deaths that I think could have been classified as suicide, but were not officially annotated on the death certificate. So it is a problem. It is a situation that impacts the community, and especially suicide impacts this whole community in general. And suicide and veterans are at an elevated risk. And that leads me to another point I wanted to point out. When we do this project, it's not even though it's targeting veterans, it's really going to serve for an awareness and a suicide prevention for all walks of life in the Koochiching County.
Thank you. With that, I'd be glad. Edie has a close contact with that type of thing too. So.
Thank you, Mark, for all your great work. You certainly have a good handle on things. I appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Very good, very necessary, very needed. So, any comments or questions from Mark? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, and thank you, Mark.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
This time we will open the floor for public comment. Is there anybody here for public comment?
This is Mark again. I have an announcement for public comment, if you will. I'd like to point out that next Monday, March 29th, is National Vietnam War Veterans Day, and the local VFW Post Auxiliary Group is putting on a coffee and donuts Monday morning on the 29th from 8 to 11. All veterans and their spouses are invited, and so we're encouraging veterans and their spouses to come out and have fellowship with other veterans, and of course that'll be a great opportunity for them also to meet their County Veteran Services benefits team.
What was the date again, Mark?
March 29th. It's Monday. 8 to 11. at the VFW Cafe here in the Falls.
Mark, how did your thing go at the VFW? What was it, a coffee thing?
Yep, a very similar. I'm glad you said something. I was going to bring that up. We had a great turnout. There was about 30 veterans there. It was really nice. I think everybody had a good opportunity to meet fellow veterans and to have some, to chat and have discussions. And actually, we ended up working with a few veterans and setting up appointments to pursue their benefits.
That was last week on Monday?
That was on the 10th, yes. And that was a Wednesday the 10th.
I was thinking last one we had.
Nope. This one will be a Monday, but so we will be having, another similar event, and actually we've committed to do 2 more. There'll be one I have it here. There'll be one in April, I believe. Hold on one second, I'll give you the exact date. It's going to be, we're gonna have, the next one will be April 14th, or after the Vietnam War veterans, on the 29th, we're doing April the 14th, and then we'll also do May the 12th. So if you want to put something and that'll be the same thing, about 8 to 11, 8 to noon, coffee and donuts, and fellowship for the veterans and an opportunity to talk to us if they're interested in pursuing their benefits.
Thank you, Mark. Please remind us again at the next upcoming meetings and stuff about that too, if you don't mind.
I will do that, of course.
Hi, Commissioner Schobloom. This is Matt Gwynn.
Yes, Matt.
I just have another announcement from tonight from 5 to 7. We have the Koochiching County Flood Map Information Virtual Open House. And I believe the board members already know about this, but I just thought I'd announce it. And if anybody wants to attend virtually, they can go to the Koochiching County Environmental Services website, and we have a link there for them to connect. And there's also information about being able to dial by phone. And of course, we'll have the connection there at the county board room there for anybody that is unable to attend. With those other options.
Matt? Have any other public comment?
Mr. Chair, as part of the public comment, everyone, I don't know, Jenny, did everyone get to see the card?
You know what, I did, no, and I was gonna just have you pass that around, but go ahead and read it.
Just read it. This is from Janelle Fuller. She sent it to Jenny. Please extend my thanks and gratitude to the commissioners for the grant that we received from the COVID relief funds. Their support is greatly appreciated. Thank you. That's very nice. Thank you to Jenny. Anyway.
We are adjourned.